Folks, I feel like I've been played like a fiddle. So a couple weeks back, Team Ninja announced that they're remaking Ninja Gaiden 2, calling it Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, and they said on record that it was the definitive edition. So obviously, most of us were over the moon, especially me. I made a video on it the very first day, and if you notice one thing about that video, it was only about the first stage of the game because I just wanted to give people a quick introduction into what to expect and how to fight back against the cheapness that is Ninja Gaiden 2. But while making that video and just focusing on the first stage, something felt very off to me. Honestly, and the only way that I can explain this feeling that I just knew something was off, if you've ever watched The Simpsons and remembered the episode where Homer was in a lesbian bar, and he just kept saying to himself, something seems off about this bar, and everyone thought he was going to be talking about something else, and then all of a sudden, he just stood up and said, "This lesbian bar has no fire exit." And that's exactly how I felt. I'm going to tell you how. Because when I booted up stage 2 and saw that the attack on the Hayabusa castle was in daytime and not nighttime, I knew we weren't playing the original Ninja Gaiden that we all loved back in 2008. We were actually playing a remake of Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma, which is a completely different game and a completely different experience. Now obviously I like to make a lot of jokes when I make my videos, but I do want to say, if Ninja Gaiden 2 Black is your first Ninja Gaiden game experience, you're still gonna love it. It's still a very good game, and I know I like to troll with these things, so just complete the game and have fun. But I'm telling you, when it's over, you gotta look into playing the original 2008 version of the game. And the reason you want to do it is because it is the better experience and the more fun experience overall. So long story short, essentially at the time that the PS3 was out, it could not handle the original Ninja Gaiden 2 just because it was a lot harder to make games on PlayStation 3 at that time. So they made Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma, and honestly, it can't hold a candle to the original game in my opinion. The original game was just so much more chaotic and enjoyable because not only were there tons of more enemies, like just waves and waves of enemies that you had to fight at once, the pacing was also better because they didn't have these filler missions. Like, yes, I know a lot of people say you get to play as new characters in the Sigma versions, but you know what? They can't hold a candle to Ryu Hayabusa. They're nowhere near as fun to play as him, and it really put a monkey wrench into the progression of that game because you just want to keep unlocking things with Ryu and getting strong with Ryu. He had access to all the magic and all the weapons. You don't want to be limited to some characters that were nowhere near as strong, only have one weapon, one magic. That really dragged down the pace of those games. And I kid you not, at the higher difficulties in the OG Ninja Gaiden game, so the one that came in 2008, it is arguably the most action-packed game of all time. There's not a single second that you can take off your controller because you're getting attacked left, right, and center by mobs and mobs of enemies. But Hayabusa is so strong and powerful and he can dodge all these things. It's just such a joy to play. And I've actually never felt that level of exhilaration in an action game since. And I love action games. I've played every single one from the very beginning to the ones that are getting released now. You have to check out the original Ninja Gaiden. And that's why I'm here to announce the very first game I'm going to stream on this YouTube channel is going to be the OG Ninja Gaiden 2 that got released in 2008. And I'm going to show everyone how awesome that game is. Feel free to join the chat. I like to keep my live streams when I do them to be very chill, laid back. It's more about getting to know all my viewers and talking to people, having that back and forth. I promise you, I'm very friendly. When I ask you questions, I'm not just doing it, to humor you. I really do like to know about people and learn more about, everyone that I can. So tune in, see how awesome these games are, and honestly, kick back and let's chat together. And on that note, if you have an Xbox 360, an Xbox One, or the Xbox Series X or S laying around, you can still have access to this game. It's backwards compatible, and I think it's still on Marketplace, and it's half the price of the new game. Believe me, this is the definitive version. It still plays amazing at 60 frames per second, except in some areas where, we can get into after, but I'm telling you, it's still epic. This is the way to play Ninja Gaiden 2. This is one of the best action games ever, and I highly recommend you check it out. Peace out, everybody.